what camp is complete without a fire? Well, we're going to try and get one right now. We've got our wood pile set up, so over here we've got our tinder, we've got some birch bark, some tumble dry lint, some pine resin, some dry grass. Next we've got our kindling, smaller bits of wood, probably about pinky thickness up to about thumb thickness. And then we've got our wood for burning as a fire. Okay, probably up to about the thickness of your forearm. Okay. And we've also built a reflector at the back of the fire. Okay, now some of this wood's still a bit big, so we're going to have to split it down a bit, but we're not going to use an axe, we're going to use a knife, and we're going to do what is called battening. Now, what we mean when we're battening a wood is we're going to split it down into smaller bits. Okay, so I'm going to take a couple of bits of wood. There we go, a couple of bits of wood. What I'm going to do is take my knife, bit of wood straight up and down, knife across the top of it, and use the other bit of wood to split down through it. If I've got a decent bit of wood, that is. Caught in a knot. There we go. So that's it halved, and you can keep halving it down until it's whatever size you need. Okay, it's one that I did earlier. Right, now time to get this fire started. Lots of different ways to do that. We've got a ferro rod and a striker, and we've got my knife there, which has got a ferro rod in the handle, matches, lighter, and the last two, a bit optimistic for Scotland, a magnifying glass and a mirror. Okay, then we've got our tinder, so we've got some cotton wool, some bits of string, we've got our tumble dryer lint. In here we have pine resin and a few things that you might not think about. We've got hand sanitizer, we've got steel wool, battery, and item X. We'll get onto that at the end. And last but not least, we've got some fat wood. Fat wood's great stuff. Now, how to use a ferro rod and a striker. If you look at most of the ferro rods, they've got a wee divot on the top of them, which is where your thumb goes. Okay, and on the striker, there's one that matches. Okay, so that's you holding it the right way round. Take the blade for the striker and hold it at about 45 degrees to the rod. Okay, find the shiny bit. Okay, not the dull bit, shiny bit, and then push reasonably hard right down the length of the rod. Okay, you don't want to push too fast, but fast enough to get a spark. Okay, so you can either do it that way, or you can hold the blade steady and move the rod. Okay, some people prefer it that way. It keeps the spark in the same place. So with our bit of cotton wool, make it nice and fluffy, and we get our ferro rod onto the cotton wool, and there we go, burns away. Okay, nice and quick to get things going. Once we've got our cotton wool going, you see it doesn't take very long for it to burn out. So we need to work out ways to try and slow it down, to try and make it burn longer, I should say. So we've got a few different ways of doing that. Another piece of cotton wool. We can use petroleum jelly. We can use hand sanitizer. We can use pine resin. Okay, we like pine resin because it's renewable. Or lots of different things you can use. Okay, we're going to try and use a bit of pine resin for this one. So I'm just going to break some of it off from this lump. And cotton wool pad that was pulled apart, I'm going to place it on there. Okay, and we'll see how this goes. Might be a bit, the lump might be a bit big to get started, but we'll see. Right, so there we go. The cotton wool's going. And it certainly smells like the pine resin's starting to go. There we go, burning nicely. And that will burn for a reasonable amount of time, certainly long enough to get your fire going. Okay, so from there you would start to build up a few sticks on it, a few twigs, gradually getting bigger and bigger until you've got the fire as big as you want it to go. There we go, it's burning nicely now. Quite smoky though, pine always is. And one of the important things, it's fairly resistant to the wind as well. Just move that out of the way. Still burning. So one of the other things we can use is fat wood. Now with fat wood you can either feather it like that, or you can do what I like to do, which is you get your bit of fat wood and you get a pencil sharpener and you take shavings off with your pencil sharpener, so it's all nice and fine and it'll catch so much easier. The finer something is, the easier it is to get it to catch fire. Okay, so we've got some fat wood on there. Take another wee block of it and back to the cotton wool. Okay, and we drop fat wood on top of that. And then back to the ferro rod, and let's see. Meanwhile, the pine resin's still burning. See? And there's the fat wood away as well now. Okay, all fat wood is pine branches that have got an awful lot of resin in them. When they start, the sap starts to rise again in the spring, the wood gets very resinous, so it burns quite easily. The next one's a bit strange because most people, when you first tell them, they don't believe it. But what we've got here is a bit of steel wool, and same as before, we're just going to use the ferro rod and strike into it. And it's not working very well. Fluff it up a wee bit. It's typical, isn't it? There you can see it's all starting to burn now. Okay. And from that you can get any other sort of kindling to light or tinder to light from there. Cotton wool or dry grass or whatever, the breeze helping it a wee bit. But even easier than that is if you get your bit of steel wool and a battery. You can see it's starting to go. Okay. And as with the other one, if you get some cotton wool on that, that will actually start to burn. Okay. And last but not least, this one might take a wee while to work properly. Item X. And we just make a little mountain there. Get that out of the way. And then we get item Y and we add it to item X. And we'll just see how that goes. There we go, and that's actually still hot enough to get a fire going. Next thing we're going to go on to is how to actually build a fire. Okay, hopefully that'll be interesting for you as well. Just as that burns out.